Alright, what's up, Internet? VG Imminent here. And with Ghosts coming just around the corner, I believe it's actually just a couple of weeks, I was kind of just trying to decide what to do commentaries over. Well, being as Black Ops 2 has come to a close, specific gameplays or specific strats be kind of meaningless, because what are you going to do? Use them within the next 14 days? So I decided to do something a little bit more general that's applicable not just through Black Ops 2, but basically just shooting games, period. And I decided the topic would be in-game awareness. Now, not to be confused with actual awareness, like the actual perk that you have in the third tier of perks, but the concept of just generally being aware throughout the game. It's kind of a combination of tactics and knowledge and stuff, and we'll go over that in a second. But this gameplay is just League S&D, playing this with some of the fellow clanmates here. I did pretty good. We ended up winning it and had an entertaining finish, which you'll see towards the end. But, well, what is awareness? It's kind of a general term, and there's actually two different levels to what we're talking about here. We have the obvious kind of awareness, where it's just, you're aware of the things in your proximity. Like, you're sitting in front of your computer or your Xbox right now, looking at your phone, you're aware of your surroundings. That's the obvious sort of awareness. Applied to the game, Black Ops 2 or any shooting game, you're aware of the things that are obvious in the game. Like, let's say, for instance, right now I'm aware of where my team is. I'm aware that the bomb is going towards B, and that's the obvious blatant stuff. But that's pretty simple. Pretty much every gamer is aware of what they're staring at. It's the next level of awareness that's the one that separates the good players from the better, great players. Yeah, my shot was kind of windy there, but to each their own. And it's the more complex one that is going to give you the more significant advantages. Now, it's a little bit difficult to go over awareness just in a matter of, 15 minutes or anything like that, because of all the topics it touches. But ultimately, it uses tactics like flanking, when to run, how to use cover, fluidity of movement, all of that. And it just kind of assumes you know that. So we're just going to roll with that for right now. But ultimately, the higher level of awareness in-game boils down to knowing what your opponent is doing. Being able to think from the opponent's perspective. Let's just use an example. Like, there's an opponent moving down towards the raid side on raid CTF. You have to be aware of what his thought process and decision making is going to be based on what you are doing, what your teammates are doing, and what the opponent team is doing. Once you factor all of that in, you should be able to get an idea about what they are going for. Now, let's say, for instance, that they're pushing in for a flag cap, and, they take down a couple of your teammates. You can be reactive about this, which is you just basically react to them pulling your flag. It says enemy has your flag, and you turn around and you try to go get your flag. Or you can be a little bit more aware of what the other team is doing. You're saying, oh, there's two teammates down over in this location. I'm going to assume that they're pushing forward and they're trying to go for a flag cap. And there's a couple things you could do from there. You could OE, which means overextend, which means push towards their flag in an attempt to either detract from their offensive push, or you could rotate around towards your flag in an attempt to cut them off for that. Actually, just briefly, something about in the game right there. You see how that guy right there planted the bomb and ran away? He was trying to, look, it's not a bad move. What he's trying to do is we're trying to zone him out, and we're like, where is he? Because he's moving around. We're having a hard time figuring out where he is. But knowing that he was running around, it would take about 15 seconds or so get back to the bomb. I went and told, I believe that was Roldy, to go ahead and defuse. And because I knew he could just lay there and defuse the bomb, zero conflict, zero risk of failing there. But basically have to be aware of what's going on in the game, understand what the opponent team is doing, what they're thinking. Let's say, for instance, you damage somebody very significantly when they're behind a head glitch. You have to know, are they going to run away? Are they going to go camp in a corner? Should I challenge? These are all things that you have to be very knowledgeable about in order to really figure out what's going on. Like right there, for instance, I could have been aware that I really didn't have anybody in the middle of the map to actually cover me, and should have been looking a little bit more towards my flank, because that was just about the time to expect somebody to come from flank. Fortunately, I didn't, so we're not at all perfect. Now, there are some maps or game types are more applicable to having a degree of awareness in the first place. S&G is the obvious one, just because you only have one life. You're forced to be very aware and have a lot of tactical understanding, because you only have one life. You can't afford risking it because, you know, some guy happened to wander around and get lucky on you. Let's see, I actually wrote down a few different things that you're going to have to really grasp to be able to play in a manner that is no longer reactive. You basically have to understand locations on the map, what the cutoff points are, where the timings are, where the opponents are going to be pushing, the important spots for the opponents and you as well. Moving on beyond that, you have to start to be aware of, I know I'm saying aware a lot, I'm sorry, it's a topic, and it's a very relevant word, my apologies, but you have to be knowledgeable about the habits of the other team. Let's say, for instance, you're playing a team before, and one guy's consistently running a sub. Well, you can just go ahead and basically assume that there's going to be a guy over in those closer quarter areas of the map. Say, for instance, you're playing Meltdown, you got a guy that's running an SMG the entire time. You're going to guess they're going to have somebody pushing A, at least one, almost every match on, let's just assume this is a normal league team, it's nothing terribly organized. Just, you have to be knowledgeable and adapt to what the opponents are doing, because understanding their habits allows you to counteract them more effectively. Beyond that, you actually do have to have a degree of strategy. If a team is playing with strategy, it's going to affect their individual play. Typically, you see defensive spreads in loosely organized play. Just, you know, you got a person here, person here, person here. Because Black Ops typically has just 3 lanes of travel in each map. You're going to have people covering all those lanes, and that might vary a little bit with various strategies. But you got to understand flanks. You got to understand if people are doing delayed pushes, because this is all going to determine how you proactively react to it. Also, I think I have timings here as well. Now, this is timings, believe it or not, is actually significantly important. You have to understand when people are going to be doing things. Persons, you know, we got to kill now, they're going to push now, they're respawning now, they're going to be in this part of the map now, this is the time to use my lightning strike. This all comes in time. It's not a matter of just, you know, you're going to learn, it's a matter of moments, but just the more you know these things exist, the more you're going to pick them up. Ultimately, though, what it just boils down to is think. A lot of people play the game without thinking whatsoever, which makes it far more difficult because you're not as learning as much. You're just being a reactive player. Just use your brain. Like right now, I know they're running around over by B. I'm not going to just run out there because there's several of them. I'm going to get weighed down and destroyed instantly. So it's just play using your mind. The best way to train this is watch replays from your matches. It's a lot easier when it applies to you as opposed to watching somebody else's matches, but watch it from your opponent's perspective. There's a lot of stuff on YouTube like that. Like Rambo has a great video analyzing an SMD match that I encourage everybody to watch. But unfortunately, the match is ending, so, well, maybe thankfully for a lot of you guys. But this is VG Imminent, talking about in-game awareness. I am going to try to do more of these. At some point, I'm also going to do some more specific stuff for ghosts, but for the time being, I'm going to do some general stuff. Take it easy, guys. VG Imminent, out.